We have two stud quarterbacks, Tua Tagovailoa, which I still can't pronounce his name. And I'm Dolphin.
Tagovailoa.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. It's Tua. And then
You're a Dolphins fan. Come
I know,
on.
Dolphin supporter. And then we have Jameis Winston going against the New Orleans Saints. So this was very difficult for me in my research to actually decide on who I'm starting this week because you drafted Tua as a starter. Last year, he led the league in passing. Last year, he was on fire. Last year, he was phenomenal. Jameis, on the other hand, hasn't started football many games. This year, he started two. He started two games, and he came in relief in one game. And he's been kind of up and down, up and down. So, Justin, I'm going to start with you because you're highly buzzed right now. I can tell. You're barely keeping your composure. Who are you starting this week? Tua versus the Vegas Raiders or Jameis versus the New Orleans Saints?
Yeah, it's important to know if you're wondering, like, why are we picking two guys that are just absolutely, like, not starters in the NFL? It's because guys like Daniel Jones, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, and Bryce Young are all on bye this week. So you're losing four guys. Because of those losses, you're looking at guys that are ranked, 13 and 14 this week in fantasy rankings. So that's why you have this kind of a matchup. Now, without stalling anymore, Jameis Winston, we know who he is. He's going to throw the ball 40 plus times a game. Whether he gets interceptions or not, he's going to still do that. Even with throwing 3 interceptions, he still put up 13 points in week 9 against the Chargers. Who else is putting up double digit points while throwing 3 interceptions in a game? That's other than what Jared Goff probably throwing 5 interceptions. Did he score? Yeah, he got 12 points. Tua, I don't know what's going on with the Dolphins. Like,
I don't know,
are they
concussions.
good? I don't know what to do with Tua, and because I don't know what to do with Tua, I'm not gonna start Tua. Period. I'm not starting Tua. I would rather start Jameis Winston with Cedric Tillman and Nick Chubb this week, and I'm hard against even thinking about starting Tua.
Okay, so let's look at the numbers. Let's look at the facts, right? The Vegas Raiders give up 18.5 fantasy points to the quarterbacks. It's the eighth worst in the NFL. The New Orleans Saints only give up 15.1 fantasy points to the quarterback. That's the 12th best. So right there, you're looking at, okay, Tua's got the advantage because he's playing the worst defense. Right there, that's an advantage. But we're not baking in the revenge game factor where Jameis feels like possibly he should have been the starter there in New Orleans and not Derek Carr. And Jameis is a personal person. He holds grudges. It's fine. I'm baking that into my response. I'm baking that into my answer to this question. Since Tua's return in week 8, he's been quarterback 19. He's only averaging 13.8 fantasy points per game. I don't know if I can start that. And is that a lot to do with Waddle not being productive this year? Tyreek Hill has been a shell of himself. Tyreek Hill is only averaging 11.1 fantasy points per game. He's a wide receiver 30 right now. Last year at this point, he was a wide receiver 1 and averaged 24.9 points per game. Let that bake in. Last year at this time, Tyreek was the best player in the world. And now he's been reduced to this due to injury. Tyler Huntley, Skylar Thompson, you name it. Miami's had problems this year. The air yards for Tua has been down. He was at 7.6 last year. He's at 5.8 air yards per attempt. That's a problem. That's also a Tyreek problem. Last year, Tua was completing 50% of his passes over 20 yards. This year, it's only 38.5. Like, everything is down. Everything has been trending down for the Miami Dolphins and Tua. And you could say injuries, you can say concussions. He missed those games. These are games that he's actually played, and it's still going down. Weeks 11 through 17 last season, I know I'm referencing a lot of last season, but the Dolphins are a trendy team. They actually follow their trends very well. We all know when the weather turns cold, the Dolphins go away. Happens every single year. Last year, weeks 11 through 17, Tua was the quarterback 17, 14.6 fantasy points per game. Weeks 1 through 10, he was the quarterback 10, 19.2 fantasy points per game. This is real, people. Tua, this is more of a Tua problem than a Jameis problem or a Jameis non-problem. I'm not starting Tua in any situation. He did lead the league in passing last year, but he did fumble after week 11, as I just mentioned. What's to say this is going to happen again? Yes, he's playing the worst defense or one of the worst defenses in the league in the Las Vegas Raiders, but I still don't trust Tua. I still don't trust that offense. until they can prove me that they can do anything other than do a 2-yard dump down to Achane, I'm completely out on this offense. Jalen Waddle's been an underachiever. Tyreek Hill's been a shell of himself. And Tua has just been back to the old average Tua that we saw before last season. With that being said, I'm going Jameis Winston just on a hunch that he's going to sling the ball more than Tua. Just on a hunch that he's going to score more fantasy points because you said it yourself. Jameis can throw 3 interceptions and pick himself back up and throw 3 touchdowns. Tua can turn the ball over 3 times, and that guy's confident shot, and he's done. I'm going Jameis just for fun. And just because the stats don't lie, Tua's trash after week 11.